Oh my, is it safe to travel in 2025? That's the big question I'm asking, and maybe you are too. With global tensions, rising costs, and the chaotic airports, it's getting harder to feel confident about travel. So, do we go or do we stay home? Hi, I'm Leanne and Chan. Welcome back to Stay Traveling, where we share honest stories and practical tips for long term travel in retirement.
Today, we will break down 5 questions we ask ourselves to a trip abroad so we can stay curious and keep Leanne from being fearful.
Yes, that's me. This guy is far more daring than I am, and frankly, I've let fear stop me too many times from changing jobs when maybe I should have. Sometimes spending money I will wish I would have spent on something of better quality, and of course, it costs more. And probably my biggest fear these days is some of the new adventures he wants to take me on. But honestly, you've helped me through many of these fears. And now, with time ticking, I'm more determined than ever not to let fear keep me home. And in this video, we will talk about the questions we research that help keep me grounded, curious, and able to move forward.
Fear is real for the person who has it.
Yeah, me.
Yes.
How do you deal with that, Chan?
Well, the first thing is you ask the question, is it really real risk? And how you can mitigate that fear by planning, by doing your homework and becoming prepared for some of the situations and an emergency. And then I think just go for it.
So I think what you're saying is the number one tip is, first of all, is to assess the fear. Is it real? Is it, I can make just about anything a mountain out of a molehill and create a scenario in my head, and then you have a tendency to just bring me back to reality.
Fear is real. And I think one of the things I try to be in those situations when she's fearful is to stay calm. Discuss the fear itself and try to figure out what we can do. Like just for a moment, that we have right now, with all the travel we do, global uncertainty. What does that mean? That means that we need to pay more attention to that global uncertainty, whether it is political, whether it is the airlines, whether it is the visas,
Yeah.
whether it is the length of stay.
Yeah.
The rules keep on changing.
And remember last year in the spring, we were in Seoul, Korea,
Yeah.
and
That was a very good example. They had a political unrest, and we were staying in the heart of the city. We loved that hotel. We could walk to the shopping areas, we could do this, but right there was these big demonstrations going on. But we tried to stay safe, be a little bit more careful than we would.
So, number one, we really work hard to understand the risk. And number two, boy, once we've decided on the area where we want to go, I always check with the U.S. Department travel advisories. I don't always take them for
Seriously,
real
because
serious.
if you go to the website, the whole world is
Unsafe.
is unsafe because of the political situation, because of the health scare, and you name it,
Yeah. What I found actually more helpful, and I will say, I do check out the U.S. Department of Travel advisories. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a link in the description so that you can check it out. But I don't stop there. I really look at the local news of the country that we're going to visit, and I really learn a lot more about what's going on. And then I belong to Facebook groups. I just right away start following the different Facebook groups of the countries that we're going to be visiting. And I found this very helpful to assess the local situation. Yeah. So, number one is to understand the risk of where you're going. And number two is just check out what are the travel advisories and just check out the news and things like that. And number three,
I think the travel advisory is a good place, and registering with the American embassy is a good place, or whichever nation you belong to, because they can help you in case of emergency.
yeah. So can I kind of bring that together and say that our tip number three is how would you handle an emergency? And one of the best things that you can do, as he was saying, is to register with the U.S. Embassy for us. We would do that for, like when we go to India, we would register with the U.S. Embassy in India. And so there's some documentation that we're in the country, and hopefully somebody will notify us if something's wrong, but I'm not going to really count on it. Again, I think, as I said earlier, I think it's really important to rely on your family and friends back home to just help keep an eye on you in the situation as well. As we talk about emergency situations, do you remember when we were in Delhi
Yeah.
airport in 2019 and our plane to northern India? We were in Delhi and we were flying to northern India, and we were at the gate. Our luggage was on the plane, and they said all flights are canceled to northern India, and the airports are closed, and the airspace is closed because there was some kind of, what would you call it, dogfight between,
Dogfight
yeah,
going on between India and Pakistan.
yeah. And I don't know, for some reason, I became very calm. And I think it was his matter of fact attitude about everything. And there were Westerners who were trying to travel to northern India as well on the flight. And they were panicking. And I could see that. And I could see that language was a problem here. And so first I just stepped in and I was able to calm them down. And Chan just said, let's go to the bus depot and we'll take the bus. And we asked the people to join us. So how you might surprise yourself in an emergency.
Yeah, I think that again I come back to the fear. The fear is real. And if you're traveling Asia, there you will be exposed to all kinds of emergencies, and these emergencies can become your real fear. And I think the real challenge is do your preparation first and things will work out.
So let's review, because we're almost through our list. Is number one, assess what is the real risk here. And number two, check out the travel advisories. Check out the local news for where you are, and maybe look at some Facebook groups as well. And number three, boy, this is important, is how would you handle an emergency? And I think that's important because, at least for me, somebody who's fearful, if I have a plan in place, it really helps. So, number four, are we emotionally prepared? Now, that's not so much, I think, an issue for you, because you'll go just about anywhere. But for me, it is, my emotions sometimes get in the way, and especially fear will stop me.
You can't plan for everything. If you've done your best, then I think, as far as I'm concerned, that if your gut says that it is the right thing to do, go for it, because most of the bad things never happen.
Yeah. Sometimes, despite all the research, all the logic, it just boils down to you have to decide, does this destination feel right for me? And that's okay. We've walked away from trips. Right before the war in Gaza, we had planned a trip to Israel, and for some reason, it just didn't feel right.
Yeah,
So
we canceled it.
we canceled it. There's other times where we've taken what looked like a risky trip, and our friends thought we were nuts, and turned into a very meaningful and even joyful experience. And one such trip was to Pakistan with the hopes that Chan could find his childhood house. And it's not easy to get a visa to that country, but we did. And it ended up being the most beautiful experiences because people, once they found out he was looking for his childhood home, boy, they wanted to help us. And these are memories that we will always cherish.
Yes.
But I have to tell you, when you're planning international travel, you really have to be honest with yourself and really assess, what can I handle? And the goal isn't to be fearless. I don't think that works, especially at our age. It's to understand the risks and decide what you're comfortable with, and then move forward from there with intention. The truth is, there really isn't any perfectly safe place. Risk is part of life and travel, but what matters is your own risk tolerance and how you assess the risk and how you prepare. And most importantly, it's keeping the big picture in mind. Boy, I think travel is still one of the most rewarding things we can do at our age, don't you?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It keeps us young. It keeps us curious. It helps us keep on facing challenges.
Yeah, it does.
Challenges. Mind sharp, physical body better than
Yeah.
it would be. If you find our conversation just how to deal with fear, give us a shout. Tell your friends and subscribe to our channel.
So
See you.
till next time. Bye.
Bye.